Okay, before we get into today's video, I just kind of want to mention that our guild Visceral, which went through some management changes as well as I became GM, I'm currently looking to build this guild from the ground up. We have a few buffs and everything going on, so we're gonna try and make a little community here and see what happens with it. But overall, we're looking for 450 plus. We will accept members at a lower gear score if your activity is pretty decent and you play the game fairly often. I'm not saying you gotta play like, oh, you're 10 hours a day, but if you're on at least, an hour, 2 hours a day and you're playing, that is more than adequate, at least for me in terms of activity. So I'll accept any gear score really as long as you're active. We're currently working towards Garmoth, as well as we do weekly tree groups, as well as money grind sessions if you need help with gear and understanding where to progress and how to progress, whether it be through life skilling, grinding, understanding your class. We have a bunch of knowledgeable people that really understand how the game works and what you can do to progress as quickly as possible without having to pay to win. Not to mention, you can hang out with me on a regular basis if that's something you're interested in. I don't know who the fuck's interested in that bullshit, but if you are, I'm readily available. Anyway, that's enough of this bullshit ass plug. I will talk to you guys later. Bye bye. Hey, be a squid and subscribe to my mediocrity. Alright, how's it going everybody? Today is going to be more of an actual video discussing BDO in terms of the game. I got gameplay in the background, me at trees and whatnot. So I've made some pretty good gains over the past couple weeks. If you guys remember my video about clearing mansions with low AP, that was basically my gear that I was working with at the time, which wasn't the worst thing in the world. It was, on the way to soft cap-ish. I'm still working towards soft cap. I think like what? Soft cap is 540, something like that, or 530. No, I don't know what it is. It's like 240 AP, some shit like that. I don't remember. Either way, I don't care about soft cap. I just care about being, geared and getting better at the game skill wise. But that video was over a month ago, so we're gonna go over my gear progression in a month. So it's been pretty productive, and I've been busting my ass. So we're gonna go ahead and swap on over to BDO Planner and go ahead and check out what I've made. So this is my current gear at the moment. It's pretty decent, I would say. Obviously, I need to work on those earrings. I've been severely slacking, and I've just been dreading the ton grads. I could hit 62 and square away one earring, but that's a long time, and I don't necessarily know if I'm gonna be able to get it. I would have to basically live at trees for the next 3 weeks most likely, and I could probably hit 62, but once again, that is the world's biggest pain in the ass. Anyway, so aside from that, well, let's talk about where I started. So once I had figured out that, oh, I need to get some gear and upgrade my accessories, that was one of the main focuses, but I fucked up. Do not do this. If you're an AP monkey like the Musa, then you need to focus on AP accessories. So for me, I ended up messing up and I bought 2 Ronaros rings, which they're not bad by any degree, but the Musa needs the AP to grind. So I really messed up when I bought 2 of those bad boys. So I ended up having to sell them in order to afford 1 tri-crescent ring, which that sucked. But the good news is I had some friends that were willing to let me leech trees all the way to 60 and a little bit of percent into 60 so I could just quest to 61, so I was able to square away my rings easily within about 2 days. Funny story about the crescent ring is I actually made 2 tri-crescents and I could have used it, but I sold one because, hey, I'm gonna get the Kaposha in a couple days, so it was fine. And then I blew all the money I made on those on the crescent ring, and I basically tried to make a tongue grad at tri, and I failed all attempts, and I threw away 1.2 billion in less than 5 minutes. It sucked, and it was the worst thing ever, and I have learned my lesson, and I will never touch enhancing again. And after saying that statement, I ended up getting a base Tet Dim Tree, and no, I said base Tet Dim Tree. That is, wow, I am an idiot. I ended up getting a base dim tree from Patrigo, the night vendor, for about 150 million, which is severely underpriced from the actual lowest bid on the marketplace, so that was really nice. And then I enhanced it all the way to try, had some struggles getting it to Tet, and then I eventually, after I took a 24-hour break because I was just getting frustrated and I was about ready to hawk it, the next day my friend convinced me, give it another attempt, and luckily I one-tapped it within a 24-hour period, so thank God. I almost shot myself in the back, dude. That would have been Oh god, if I didn't get the Tet Dim Tree, I would have cried. So that was fun. That was one of the bigger gains, especially when it came to DP, because I had Tri-Grunal armor, which was just, it desperately needed to be upgraded. So that was a really big gain for me. And then because I was all hyped up and on fucking adrenaline, basically, I was like, fuck it, let's just try and get a Tet Grunal, and I one-tapped the Tet Grunal as well. So my RNG was pretty good that day, so I ended up getting that as well. The Grunal I will be upgrading at some point. I won't be getting rid of it or selling it. I will be upgrading it to Griffins for grinding. The Grunal helmet is actually comparable stats to a Heave helmet, which it's actually identical realistically when you think about it. Not even when you think about it, it just is identical. But yeah, so since it's identical to the Heave, I basically am going to use this for PvP stuff because it has really high evasion and it's kind of like the end game-ish build. So it's actually not that bad that I got it to Tet. I might even pen it at some point if I decide to feel that frisky and can build a big enough stack, but we'll see. So those two right there were really lucky, and thank God I managed to square those away. It holds me down and it allows me to go to trees, so it's not that big of a deal. Now from this point, I really struggled with what I needed to do and what I wanted to focus on. Originally, I had started with, focusing on my accessories because I'm like, I need the AP, I need to get it going, I need to, be able to hit hard, do damage. But then I thought about it and I was like, well, I went to trees one time and I did okay damage. The problem was I couldn't survive very well because the little red dots on the ground that hurt you immensely, that would basically one-shot me, and thank God there was no like XP loss or anything like that because my ass would have been set back so far due to all that bullshit. So I wanted to make sure that never happened, so I was like, fuck it, I'll let go of the AP for now. I've got 233 because I hit level 61 and it gives you a free AP little slot, so that's nice. So I was sitting comfortably at 233. I am going to get a tongue grad to get it to 235, but I needed that survivability so I could actually sit at trees and do something. So I was like, all right, we need to do Begs or Libers or Uragons, which I struggled with figuring out what gloves I wanted because I talked to my boy Shaky on fucking Twitter and I was like, hey, well, what should I be running in terms of like armor and whatnot? And he was like, AP evasion. So I was like, okay, so Libers and Muskins. But then like that's probably endgame PvP when I thought about it, because that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to fucking run that shit for, that grinding. That just, I don't know, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So my ass was like, okay, I need the accuracy since my friends are all telling me, yeah, you probably need the accuracy for grinding and stuff like that. So I struggled between Begs and Uragons. I don't need Muskins because I'm grinding trees all the time now, so I don't need Muskins. I need the survivability, so Uragons. Now, the problem persisted where, holy shit, Uragons are 1.8 billion. How the fuck am I gonna afford that? And I did afford it, but only because I had a friend that was willing to sell to me for the low, so that was really nice. It still costed me about 1.6 bill, 1.7 bill, something along the lines of that. But I managed to get the money together, and through a lot of luck, RNG from Patrigo, I made some fat gains and a couple little hidden grinding, things that I was doing on the side. I was able to make a good amount of money in order to afford these bad boys, so it was well earned. So after we got the Uragons, I then proceeded to get the Begs gloves. Like I said, I struggled between Begs and Libers, but I think Begs were the better choice at the moment, at least for grinding and even for just, accuracy PvPing, because there's a lot of evasion monkeys out there that are just running around with DP evasion, and oh god, it's so annoying. So accuracy, very helpful, even for grinding as well as PvP, so I make it work. I will be getting Libers at some point, but for now, I think Begs was the better budget choice. And that is essentially the progression I've made. I basically was able to pull probably I think Tet Dim Tree is like 1.6 bill at the moment, or 1.5 billion on the marketplace, which is pretty damn pricey if you ask me. I'm not sure that it's really worth all that much, but it is pretty damn pricey. So I think the issue here for me is that I basically spent like 1 billion for the chest piece, 1 billion for the crescent, 1 billion for the Begs, almost 2 billion for the Uragons, and yeah, I mean, it was expensive, but in about a month, I managed to pull out a few billion in order to afford this armor set. Granted, the Tet Dim Tree was enhanced, so that only costed me roughly around probably 300 mil, something on the lines of that, so that was easy. And then the Grunal, the Tet didn't cost me really anything. I one-tapped it, so I had the armor stone. It was fairly easy. So more or less, I ended up making probably around 2.5 billion just to afford no, it was actually about 3 billion to afford the Crescent, the Begs, and the Uragons. So yeah, it was about 3 bill. So that was pretty, 3.5 bill actually, because Uragons are expensive. But yeah, in about a month, 3.5 bill. Pulled that out of my ass and was able to get to 233 Awakening and 304 DP. So I think I've been doing okay. Now the question is, where the fuck do we go from here? So my goals at the moment, get the earrings squared away because that's the last bit of AP I gotta get rid of because the Forest Eyes are holding me back. I need to get 235. It's very important. I absolutely have to get it squared away. So I either need to suck it up and make the 3 bill in order to afford 2 Tungrads, or I need to sack up, afford one of them, and then just proceed to grind trees till 62 and square away with a Kaposha. So those are my options for that. Either way, I'm going to be either getting 2 Tungrads or 1 with a Kaposha. I'm hoping to do the latter and sit at trees for 2 weeks. I will update you whenever that happens. And then once we go from that point, let's just go ahead and put the Tungrads on here at this point, because I mean, let's be realistic. I absolutely need these Tungrads, or at least the Tungrad and Kaposha. So we're gonna just assume that I'm gonna be able to get these Kaposhas or this Kaposha, because like I absolutely have to. I need to get this. So assuming that I can get this, which I know I can, what do we do from here? Well, the Serops is going to be the thing that holds me back, and as well, I need a Tet accessory. So from that point, I'm going for a Tri-Ogre, which on the marketplace currently, that bad boy is about 3.5 bill, which is please God, I don't want it. But that's gonna put me at a pretty comfortable bracket, which I won't. I think I need still a little bit more, but I need a Tet accessory as well. So I'm gonna Tet a Bassie. I don't know whether or not I'm gonna enhance it. I fucking doubt it. I do not have the balls nor the patience to do so. So I think I'm gonna have to sack up and just buy it. So we're gonna Tet a Bassie. Now at this point, I'm pretty much gonna swap off the Kudum and I'm gonna get a Nover, which that's gonna be really depressing because I really like the Kudum, but I think from this point I don't need the Kudum anymore. I can actually use the Nover, but I think we're gonna, you know, Tet the Basilisk belt. We're gonna just basically sit comfortably with this for a good while and just I don't think I'll be switching off Nover actually. I think it's whenever I can reach 261 with a Nover, I think is when I can switch, but assuming that I can get to that point anyway. So we're actually going to go ahead and switch back to the Kudum because I think it's still usable, but still. So this is essentially the next set of things I'm going to do. Square away the earrings and then get my Tri-Ogre, and then I'm going to Tet a Bassie, and then at that point I'm going to chill, work on skill points, work on just being a better Musa, or I'm going to, you know, start messing around and just fooling with PvP. I'm just basically going to spend a lot of time learning my class because I really need to understand this class a lot better. I'm working on a few things, but overall, gear score will only take me to, you know, certain areas and certain points, but my skill level with the Musa, my deeper understanding of other classes and my own class is going to make me a lot better. So I'll just need to spend probably a little bit of time, you know, working on myself as a player. Anyway, these are my ambitious goals. Hopefully I can get this within the next 2 months, hopefully the next month, if I can somehow grind this money out. I'm pretty close to a Tungrad, sitting comfortably at about 480 million right now. I can probably get a bill within the next like week or so. Probably not even that. Probably get a bill within the next like 3 days, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully I get a Tungrad by the end of next week, but we'll see. Anyway, let's go ahead and conclude this video. I just want to remind everybody that Visceral, which the name will be changing soon, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we are recruiting. We would like 480 pluses. We do trees, we do money grinds, we help with life skilling, we help with gear, especially if you need an understanding of the game. We've got a bunch of players that are really knowledgeable about what exactly you need to be doing, focusing on what you need to go for. If you need to learn your class, we have people that will help you. So if you're interested in joining an Xbox, or if you're just on console in general, if you're interested in joining a console guild, drop your gamertag down below, or just shoot me a message on Xbox. I am the guild master now, so I can just, you know, hit you up and we'll get you in a party, get everything squared away, and get you in the guild as soon as possible. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will talk to you guys later. Bye bye.